I don't know. I stay away from sports games. I do so much sports in my life that it's like sometimes you gotta get away from it. You can't do 16 hours in the building and then go home and play for 4 hours. It's like I don't want to get tired of football. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you kind of about the T-shirts that you have going on. Just what was the inspiration behind them, and what are your thoughts?
I enjoy them. I think it's more of a joke. You know, people have their comments about where they think I am and where I stand, but I'm very confident in my sexuality. So, you know, when you're very confident, you can joke about just about anything. But that's something that I just took and ran with. Somebody gave me the idea of Big Nick Energy, so I was like, I might as well take it and run. I think it's a funny idea, and I think it's mostly going to be sold just for comedic purposes. So I think I might still come out with like a logo of what I actually want, but it was just one of those where it blew up just on accident. I didn't really care if it did or not, but if people are going to run with it, I might as well give them what they want. So.
Whose idea was it?
For the shirts or for the picture?
For both? Let's do both.
The picture was mine. It was like we were done with the photo shoot that we're using for something later on, and I was like, you know what, I might as well pose for a picture too. So it was just more of a funny joke with the photographer we got, but I just decided to run with it. And then the shirts, I was actually talking to somebody that I'm going to get sponsored by, so I can't say who it is. But they came up with the idea, and then I said I was going to run with it, and they said just take all the credit. They didn't care, so you just got to run with it when you get a chance.
Does it change, you know, I mean, obviously now you have a new conversation topic. You know, y'all can talk about your deals. I saw Jabari posted his Bojangles photo and
Yes,
stuff
ma'am.
like that. Just kind of, what are your thoughts around that? And just like all your teammates having different things that they're doing, and just, you know, how do you feel about it?
I think it's very cool. You have some people who are doing it for, you know, whether it's extra money or to help family at home or however the case may be. I'm glad college opened up a little bit to the NIL, so it does help some of these kids who are, you know, less fortunate or come down to school with, like, you know, trying to help their family and this, that, and other. But I just think it's a cool idea because you can market yourself more than just football. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't use Gamecocks or the number or anything. You just got to be like, I'm Nick Muse. Who wants to, you know, hang out with Nick Muse? Who wants to endorse Nick Muse? So, you know, it gets you away from football. Now, it can cause problems in the locker room, which it hasn't here, but it can. Like, you know, if someone gets a better deal than you, you're jealous, you're this, that, and the other, however the case may be. But for the most part, it's been nothing but healthy, positive stuff in our locker room. So, you know, we talk about it sometimes. We try to stay away from it and just keep football the main thing.
Of course, yeah.
But, you know, it helps kids. So, you know, what if Bojangles can help somebody, then that's great. And if, you know, whether hairstyle, hairspray, you name it, anything you can be endorsed from nowadays. So I'm glad some people are getting the big opportunities.
And are people coming to you, or do you come to them? Because you're like, hey, I'm Nick Muse, you know, everybody.
It can be a little bit of both. You know, I talked to Saturday Down South, who was like one of my first NIL deals, and I actually DM'd them. So, you know, you can get DM'd. I've been DM'd by a couple like ambassadors and people like that, but it works both ways. It's mutual. So if you think, you know, something might be too big, don't be afraid to put your nose out there because you never know who's going to answer. So.
And can you discuss, you know, how much money you're getting from it? Or...
I don't think we can, no, ma'am. But you know, it's not world breaking. I heard something about Saban talking about the quarterback there making 7 figures or something like that. But ours are nowhere near that. But you know, every penny's helpful. So when somebody's making a couple thousand, or I think I'll be above 10,000 by the time I'm done with college. But it's not something that I prioritize. So it is what it is.
I wanted to ask about Coach Day over the summer and just getting strong. I wanted to ask specifically about the mental stuff. You know, some of the coaches were talking about brotherhood, and JJ was talking about love, and just what have you gotten from those messages, and how has it made the team stronger?
Yeah, his messages they hit to your heart. They are, especially if you understand kind of where he's coming from and how much he wants to help this team win. I know it's just, you know, what people say, another job. You know, people come in and out, and you have 2 or 3 coaches throughout college, whatever the case may be. But I think the way he hits it, it's on a personal level. He's actually here for, you know, positive messages and to help us. That's his job, and he don't care about the money. He cares about helping individuals. So when that's the main thing, everybody has a lot more respect for you. So.
And then just in terms of the physical, you know, how good are you feeling right now, and what were some of the toughest things that you had to get through?
Throughout my last couple of years, through the summer, I feel great. You know, my body is a little sore. I'm glad we just had a 4 or 5 day break, but to where I can go home and lay with the dogs. But for the most part, I feel great. He pushed us, and pushed us to our depths to where, we were thinking, whew, this might not be for us. Every college football players went home and said, I don't know if this is for me. So, but yeah, he's gotten the best out of everybody. So.
What were some of the toughest things you had to do?
Just the distances of running. The lift was just everything's boom, boom, boom. You go from one lift station to the other, and it's you get a 10-second break to do 5 minutes worth of lifting, another 10-second break, and it's like you just got to push yourself 100% of the time while you're in there. Every hour and 30 to 2 hours that he has you is full go. So that's probably the toughest is how fast the speed is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
Nick, for you, Coach Beamer was asked earlier what culture means to him. And part of his response was, it's how you feel when you walk in the building. So for you, how do you feel when you walk in the building?
I feel like giving everybody the best I got. I feel like, this is a dream come true for me. I didn't start here, so given this opportunity with, the resources they have here and the education they have here and stuff, it's definitely helped a lot. Because some people don't see it the same way I do. Some people either started here or started somewhere better or worse. So you have everybody who has different views of it, but yeah, definitely coming in the building and just being excited to be here, being excited to work out, practice, whatever the case may be. That's something that I'm definitely looking forward to every single morning.
How much did it mean to you to get to represent South Carolina at SEC Media Day this year?
That's a big deal. He grabbed 2 people, and me and JJ were the 2. It's just something that you dream of as a kid. First of all, you dream of playing here, and then being one of the 2 guys selected after getting the chance to play here. It's a 1 in a couple million chance, if not more than that. So being that guy is definitely a dream come true. And actually, my brother was the guy for Clemson for ACC Media Day. So having a brother who's already went through it, he taught me some techniques and ways to speak to the media and how to represent yourself. So getting a bird's eye view basically of it beforehand. It's also cool. So.
Who had the better media day, you or your brother?
Me, I looked a little better. Everybody talks about Taylor and this, that, Taylor and that. When I had my suit on, I looked great. So I don't know what anybody wanted to say, but no,
It was a bad picture.
it was a bad picture. No, it was. I had about 4.5 hours before I talked to media, so I was about to eat my dinner or my lunch before the plane ride. So yeah, it was whatever. But I don't know how good his went. I listened to a little bit of it, but. I think I had it. I was very confident in what I said and how I said it and what I think we got a chance to do this year. So.